Yo, what's up? It's Damon. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and break down my own case study and how I was able to get shredded while still being able to perform well as well. So I'm about to drop a lot of value. So grab a notebook, lock in, take some notes, rewatch the video if you have to, and let's jump right into the case study. What's up, guys? I'm excited to dive into this training. Training is going to be for hybrid athletes who want to drop between 10 to 20 pounds of body fat, build lean muscle, and boost performance in just 180 days using the hybrid fuel system, all without cutting carbs, losing strength, or sacrificing performance. All right, so kind of how we got here. I kind of realized that just showing up to the gym for an hour a day wasn't going to cut it and actually make me look like an athlete. Right? I know this because I was already training hard. I was chasing performance, but I was struggling to actually look the part. Right? And every time I tried to diet down, I feel like my energy would crash, my performance tanked. I felt weak and flat and drained. And I always thought that just cutting carbs and kind of starving myself was the way to get lean. And that was before I created what is now became the hybrid fuel system. And ultimately, it's like completely changed the game for myself and my clients. I was able to drop over 20 pounds of fat. I kept my strength, started performing better than ever. And I actually look and felt athletic because I was finally feeling like one. So before we dive into this, let's kind of just talk about who this is for. This is going to be for hybrid athletes, people who live and train for performance and ultimately just want to get lean. Right. So whether you are a CrossFit athlete, you do hyrox, you're a lifter who runs, or a runner who lifts, like this system was built for you. Right. And it's built for people who want to drop between 10 and 20 pounds of fat while staying strong, athletic, and high performing. Maybe you're already training hard, lifting, running, grinding through your sessions, but your body just doesn't reflect the amount of effort and work that you're putting in. Right? Maybe you've tried cutting carbs in the past, eating less calories, or following restrictive diets, and ultimately that just left you stuck. That same cycle left you feeling drained, and ultimately you found it unsustainable. Right? If you're tired of guessing like what to eat for both performance and aesthetics, want to look like an athlete that you train like, whether it's lean, powerful, and confident, like this is exactly who the hybrid fuel system was made for. Now, this is definitely like not for everybody, right? So if you're watching this, this is you, like you might as well just like close the video because it's not going to help you at the end of the day, right? So let's be real. It's not for people who are looking for a quick fix. Like if that's you, like you might as well just take Ozempic because it's not going to help you, right? It's not for people who want results without putting in the work, right? You do have to train, you do have to follow the program. It's not for people who want to just complain about the results that they like. All results are earned at the end of the day. It's definitely not for people who say like, oh, I want to do it, but they never end up following through, right? So the hybrid fuel system was really built for athletes who like are taking their training seriously and really just want to fuel an athlete as well. Now, here's kind of the truth that about getting lean and performing. Now, you can absolutely drop 10 to 20 pounds of fat, look athletic, and perform your best without cutting carbs, without overtraining, and without starving yourself, right? The thing is that most hybrid athletes just don't know how to fuel for what they do. They guess, they undereat, and then they burn out, and then the cycle just continues, right? The biggest myth that kind of holds people back is that you have to suffer to get results, and this could be farther from the truth. Like, there's no such thing as starving your way to peak performance. Like, that's not how athletes fuel. Now, if you want to finally become the athlete who looks as good as they perform, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this training. Before I do, I want to kind of go over my story. So a few years ago, I was stuck. I was training hard every day, but ultimately just my body didn't show it. And every time I tried to cut weight, I felt like I was losing strength. My performance dropped. And ultimately, I just felt miserable about myself. So I started studying nutrition on a deeper level. Like I experimented. I tracked everything from my weight to my macros and my energy levels, my happiness at the end of the day, right? And I built a system that helped fuel my training and not just restricted it. And once I dialed that in, everything changed. Like I dropped 20 pounds of fat, my strength went up, I was hitting PRs in the gym, I was running faster, and I really just hit new levels of performance, even at a lower weight. And I really just started feeling confident again. Like I felt like that athlete that, I was unstoppable. And what ended up happening is other athletes started noticing and they started asking me like, bro, like how do you stay lean while still performing at this high level? And that's when I started helping them do the same. So from that, that's what kind of built the hybrid fuel system. It's really a proven framework to just help hybrid athletes fuel smarter, perform better, and look their best year round at the end of the day. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down, how it works step by step. 4 stages to this program. So the old way and what most people typically do is they kind of just jump into a calorie deficit. They slash their carbs. They start doing extra cardio. They start working out harder. And what I found is it kills performance, right? Your energy's tank. You start going through cycling, right? You'll diet for 4 days or 5 days and then fall off when it comes to the weekend. And it's definitely not the place to be, right? Trust me, I've been there. So in this first phase, it's called reset. Now, what we want to do in this phase is we want to establish a baseline for you with no crash diets, no starvation, and just track data, right? So what we do is we track your protein, right? Make sure that your protein is stable. Make sure that you're getting consistent steps on a daily basis. So being able to monitor that. So we know how many calories you're burning. Focus on hydration as well. So that way your water weight will stay stable. And then also making sure that you're getting quality sleep because it can affect cortisol levels, which can affect fluctuations, right? And what this does is it kind of removes the guesswork and gives us a clean, repeatable starting point, right? What I also want to do is track your weigh-ins every morning. So that way we can just establish a baseline level of calories, right? If I give you 2,000 calories and you drop 2 pounds in a week, then that's definitely not your baseline, right? So we're going to find a true baseline so that way we can dial in your macros and your calories so that way we can actually have a sustainable starting point. Now, here's going to be where we get into the secret sauce, all right? And this is going to be carb periodization. Now, the old way is eat less, move more, go to TDE calculator and figure out what your macros are. And what I found is it leads to underfueling, right? Most people just don't understand how many calories they're burning on a daily basis, whether they're burning too much or too little. It leads to stalled lifts and slow recovery, right? You end up plateauing, you have poor output, you're either constantly hungry, and then just the cycle continues. It's not sustainable. Now, in this phase, we focus on carb periodization that matches your training intensity, right? So anybody who's doing any type of mixed modality training, whether it's metcons, runs, lifts, like you need to fuel for the actual work that you're putting in. And how we do this is we have high carb days, which is going to be for those intense training sessions, whether, like I said, it's doing WODs or intervals or maybe lower body days, right? We want to give our body enough fuel to be able to perform for the amount of work that we're doing, right? And if we're having a moderate day, whether it's like upper body days or slow runs, so we're going to go switch to a moderate carb approach because we don't need as much fuel to be able to perform those lifts, right? And last, on days where you're doing like rest days or just skill days, recovery days, we're going to keep our carbs low because, again, it's not matching our energy demands. So during this phase, our protein is going to stay steady pretty much throughout the whole program. But what's going to change is going to be, like I said, the amount of carbs that you're intaking as well as your fats. So if we're having a high carb day, then our fats are going to be a little bit lower. Moderate is going to be more balanced. Low carb day is going to be a little bit higher in fats. And then we're also going to focus on like pre and post workout timing, right? So making sure that we're getting enough carbs pre and post workout to fuel our lifts, but also recover as well. Now, once we have this dialed in and you start to build that rhythm of, okay, I know how to fuel for my specific phase of which I'm training, then that's when we're going to move into stage 3. And this is going to be where we perform, right? So most people, what they do is they start in a calorie deficit, and then as they continue to go, they just keep cutting and slashing their calories harder, and then they just pray that their performance holds on, right? And what ends up happening is PR start to vanish, the soreness starts to increase because you're not being able to recover because you don't have as much fuel, and ultimately it just leads to burnout, or like I said, rebounding back to where you've been, right? Now, the new way is we're going to focus on performance first fat loss, right? So what's going to happen is because you've already have your carbs dialed in, your nutrition is on point, you're going to start to see that you're going to be able to lift heavier, you're going to be able to run faster, and you're going to be able to keep your intensity high. Now, this whole phase is about keeping your habits stable and your compliance high, right? And this phase really just cements your identity as an athlete. Like, you look the part, just like how you train, you feel like one as well. Now, the last section of this and the last stage is going to be the transcend phase. Now, once you've actually hit your weight goal, what we want to do is we want to teach you how to maintain that. Because ultimately, yes, you can diet down, but if you don't know how to maintain, then you're just going to rebound back to where you were, right? And that's kind of the old way. People hit their weight goal and they're like, okay, now what? And they rebound and they yo-yo back because they just go back to reverting to what they did in the past, right? They don't know how to reverse diet to stabilize their calories, to be able to continue to perform at a high level, right? So we focus on maintenance mastery and then also event peaking. So if you do have events coming up, whether it's competitions, like we teach you how to fuel for those as well. So again, what I want to focus on is sustaining performance year round without rebounding and gaining weight and keeping your... All right, so when hybrid athletes actually start fueling the right way, like everything changes from there. Like you start dropping body fat, you get stronger, your runs get faster, and you finally start looking like that athlete that you've always trained to be. Now, what I call this is the performance feedback loop. So you start fueling better, which helps you perform better, helps you recover better, and then your body composition starts to improve as well. And that's what's going to make you want to push even harder, right? And the process just becomes self-reinforcing because it's addictive when you start seeing results. Clients are dropping anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds of fat, all while setting like new PRs, setting minutes off times, and actually revealing visible abs, all without cutting carbs or losing strength. And when the system is actually executed properly, like the results just continue to compound for life. And these are going to be some of my clients here. Like you can see, this is Gage up at the top. He's lost over 32 pounds. James on the right here as well. We have Chris. You can just see some of the testimonials of, wanted to incorporate sprinting and dropping more pounds. And that's just when things execute properly. Like I said, the results just continue to flow. All right, so now that you understand how the hybrid fuel system works, here's your opportunity. If you're a hybrid athlete, whether you're a CrossFitter, hyrox competitor, a lifter who runs or a runner who lifts, and you're ready to drop 10 to 20 pounds of fat, build lean muscle, and perform at your best, then this is for you. All right, so inside the hybrid fuel system coaching program, what you'll get is you'll get a custom fueling system built around your exact training schedule. You're going to get personalized macros and a carb cycling plan built out for you, weekly adjustments based off of your progress, direct one-on-one and 24/7 support and accountability through me, and the exact same system that I've used with all of my athletes to help them fuel performance and transformation. And the best part is like there's no risk involved at all. Like if you follow the plan, and you stay consistent and you don't see measurable results, like I will literally work with you for free until you do, or I'll just refund you in full. Like that's how confident I am in this process. And at the end of the day, the only real risk is doing nothing. Like you'd be in the same exact spot that you're in now, right? Staying stuck, staying underfueled, and just frustrated with how you look, how you feel. So if you're ready to finally fuel like an athlete and look the part and perform your best, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to put a link in the bio of the description here. What that's going to do is it's going to allow you to book a call with me. Now, worst case scenario, if this isn't the right fit, like I will definitely point you in the right direction of what I think would be best for you. Best case scenario is you completely transform your body, your energy, and your performance, right? So if you have any questions, like I said, you can always shoot me a message. But ultimately, like, this is going to be the hybrid fuel system, and I hope that. All right, guys, so that's the hybrid fuel system. If you guys want to book a strategy call with me where I'll help you walk through step by step and help you create a game plan, go ahead and go to the link in the description below. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll talk to you guys soon.